Hey everybody, Dave Tallow coming at you once again with another ranking the albums on a nice sunny afternoon. And boy, is it warm here. It's not, 50 degrees. Hey, I'll take it. Nice and sunny, it's warm out, it's wonderful. Did some shopping today, bought me some new shoes finally. But anyway, I was listening to Pete Partle earlier on Seed Tranquility. If you haven't checked that station out, check it out. He's really great. He was saying it was snowing back in New York, where he's at, nice and cold. So, Pete, I feel for you. But anyway, today we're going to be ranking the albums of Pink Floyd, one of my all-time favorite bands. And I got into Pink Floyd when I think it was 1980 when the Wall came out. Didn't really know who they were up until I heard Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Of course, like everybody, it grabbed me, and the rest was history. Went out, bought all the albums, and I think back on those days when I was just getting into music and big time, especially Pink Floyd. It was a special time. I mean, it's hard to describe. But back then, my mother had a big console stereo, and unfortunately, when you played a record on it, only one side would come through. So then, my grandmother had a stereo over here at her house, the house I'm sitting in right now, and I'd bring my albums over and play them and sit on her couch and. Oh, it was wonderful. Wonderful times. So, anyway, enough reminiscing of the past. So I said Pink Floyd, and band that got started back in September 1963, though they weren't known as Pink Floyd back then. Roger Waters and Nick Mason got together with a couple of college friends, and oddly enough, they started out with Sigma 6, and then they went through several name changes, which included the Megadeths. Yes, there was a band called the Megadeths before Megadeth. The Abadabs, the Screaming Abadabs, Leonard's Lodgers, and the Spectrum 5, before they finally settled on the T set. Could you imagine that? If they had kept the T set, it would have been the T set on the wall instead of just Pink Floyd The Wall, the T set on the wall. Oh, I don't know. That would have been strange. Or even Leonard's Lodgers. Lodging the wall. Or, hey, maybe they should have kept the Megadeths. I mean, and it spelt strangely. It was Meggadaths. I don't know if that's the British spelling of Megadeth, but that'd be kind of interesting. When Dave Mustaine named his band Megadeth, if Pink Floyd had kept that name. But anyway, then Syd Barrett joined the band, and in fact, Roger Waters had always claimed that he was Pink. far as I'm concerned, the one that could lay claim to being Pink would be Syd Barrett, because he's the one that came up with the name. I think it was his two favorite blues bands, yeah, Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. Took their first names and combined them. So, and back then they were named or known as the Pink Floyd. So, to get past, well, who's Pink? Who's Pink Floyd? Well, it's the Pink Floyd, which they eventually dropped the from their name. Actually, with Pink Floyd, the Pink Floyd Blues Band. Yeah, that's right. They called themselves the Pink Floyd Blues Band for a while. But anyway, before we get started, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. In fact, down below in the comments, leave your own rankings of the Pink Floyd. I'd be interested to see that. Hit the notifications bell, and like the video, please. Especially, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. But anyway, getting on with it, Governor. On with the Pink Floyd. One of the best bands around. The Pink Floyd, yes. So I do the whole video with my cauliflower accent, yeah. Anyway, number one. Now this album, actually I said number one. Number 15. Number 15. I'm starting out with my least favorite and working up to number one. So anyway, this album, when I first got it, was okay. One of the tracks they played on the radio, was a good heavy number. But as the years went by, especially after Roger left, it just, I see for what it is, a political statement, his bashing of the world, especially the world's leaders. And of course, I'm talking about the Final Cut. Oop. We got this on CD too. It was released on March 21st, 1983 in the United Kingdom, April 2nd in the United States and elsewhere. And I've heard that a lot of the material on here had been dropped from the wall. In fact, I heard Dave Gilmour asked Roger, well, if it wasn't good enough for the wall, why would it be good enough for here? Like I said, it's just a political statement. I mean, especially if you listen to the Fletcher Memorial Home. I mean, just bashing the world's leaders. And, I can see it in a sense, but nobody's perfect, and Roger was just a really angry man. In fact, I still think he is. But I'm not going to get into that. That's just Roger. But anyway, Final Cut, number 15. Moving right along. Now this next one, for some reason, and it's just me, but a lot of people seem to, a lot of like Pete Pardo and all of them I listen to have said that this is their favorite album. I don't get it. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. like I said, I don't hate any of these albums. There's some I just have worn out their welcome, and I don't listen to them very much. But on this album, you could hear the rumblings of Roger's takeover of the band. In fact, on this tour, people wanted to hear things from Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here and stuff like that, but he wanted to play songs off of this most recent album at the time. Released in January 21st, 1977. I'm talking, of course, about Animals. Album that, as far as I'm concerned, another his first major political outing by Roger. In fact, there's only one song that has any of the other members on, and that's Dave Gilmour on Dogs. The rest is totally Roger. Now, don't get me wrong, Roger can write good songs. It's just the political overtones just get tiring after a while. Especially when, after you see what's gone down in the world. But anyway, I'm not going to get into political platform here. But I just think they could have went in another route. But anyway, another interesting thing, the power station, Battle Sea Power Station that's on the front, they're renovating the whole place. They're keeping the stacks and everything, but I believe it's becoming apartments and businesses, which is kind of neat that they're doing that. I mean, it's an icon, made an icon by Pink Floyd. But yeah, it's cool. One good thing about it. But anyway, moving right along here, on to number 13. This is basically my break-in album with Pink Floyd. As I listened to, heard one of the songs on the radio, and I was hooked. It grabbed me. I was pulled in. Of course, released November 30th, 1979. A lot of people think it was released in 1980, but no, it was released. In fact, it'll be 21 years come Tuesday. Wow. What? No, 22 years. No, it's more like 40. Yeah, 40 years. Wow. Anyway, of course, the wall. Oh, whoop. That's not the wall. Here's the wall. I had this on vinyl, but where it's gone, I have no idea. Luckily, I have it on CD. Good album. It's just I don't go to as much as I used to. I mean, there's a few songs, Comfortably Numb, one of my old-time favorites off here. Mother, Hey You. I just have to be in the flesh. The show must go on. I just have to be in a certain mood, so let's do it nowadays. Of course, Roger, his political best. You know, I just kind of wish they'd maybe gone a different direction. You know, but anyway, it is what it is. Anyway, number 13, The Wall. Okay. Now, this next album, when I first heard it, I didn't know what to make of it. I mean, I remember listening to these at my grandmother's house, going up to, come over here to her house, listen to it on her stereo because my mom's stereo didn't work right. I didn't know what to make of it. It was so strange, especially it's two album or two vinyl set. Of course, I'm talking about Hamagama. If you heard this album, it is really strange. The first is, the live album is good, but the second album, the studio album, is just out there. I mean, Grand Chester Meadows is good. The Narrow Way is all right. The other two, just out there. So when I first heard this, I mean, it was a shock. I'm like, this is Pink Floyd. Band members. But I just don't. I used to listen to a lot back when I was younger, but now I just don't. I don't reach to it as much. I do have this on CD. I mean, you gotta have it, whether or not you listen to it a lot or not. Because it's better to have it and not go to it over not having it and wanting to go to it. Of course, nowadays we have YouTube Music, and we can go check out stuff all you want. But it's better, like I said, the main reason for this channel is to get people to check out this stuff, check it out on YouTube Music, whatever, and go buy it and support the band, the surviving members. I mean, there's 3 left. I mean, they don't tour anymore, but hey, support is support. Always support your favorite bands. Just don't go to the internet and listen to their music online. Support them financially. I mean, they have lives. They have, families. Of course, they're saying, "Oh, they're rich. So what? They can afford. They don't need my money." Well, yes, they do. Everybody needs some money. But anyway, that was released November 7th, 1969. Yeah. And the live recording was a concert at the Mothers Club in Birmingham and the College of Commerce in Manchester. And it's probably the favorite part of the whole album. I know a lot of the people that talk to like the live recording. But anyway, moving right along, up to number 11. Another strange album, but a must have for your record collection. Excuse me. Anyway, released June 13th, 1969, and two dates here. Oh, United Kingdom on August 9th, 1969 in the United States. Now this was made originally was a soundtrack plus a Floyd album. It was made for the soundtrack was for the Valley. No, not the Valley. No, the movie called More. Duh. And I've never seen the movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it. And it's really kind of strange, basically about the drug culture and the belief in Spain and Europe at that time. There's more. Strange album, but some good songs. The Nile song, covered by a bunch of different bands. Voivod did a cover of it, really good. Let's see. Cirrus Minor, one of my favorites. Of course, Nile song. Cymbeline, another good one. Strange Ones, Spanish Piece, really strange, but anyway, good album, but one I just don't reach for, go to as much. Anyway, okay, the next one, we're up to number 10. This one, another strange one. You can tell this is Pink Floyd's experimental era. They were trying to find, after Sid left, they were trying to find their sound. What direction they wanted to go into. But anyway, released October 2nd, 1970. Fucking Adam Hart Mother. The famous cow. In fact, there was a billboard with that famous cow on it. The band saw. More cows. Up on the back. Of course, you want the track listing on here. You have to go inside. Probably the best my favorite songs off here are Fat Old Son and Summer '68. The title track, it's okay. I just have to be in a right frame of mind to listen to it. Not one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people like that album. And it's good. A must-have for any Pink Floyd, dedicated Pink Floyd collector. So, anyway, check it out. Okay. Number 9. First, now when this came out, Sid was still part of the band, though by the time they released it, he wasn't a full member anymore. He'd gone off on his own, to do his own thing. They were released June 29th, 1968. United Kingdom, July 27, 1968 in the United States. Of course, I'm talking about A Saucer Full of Secrets. It's too bad that Sid mental health was suffering. Of course, it did open the door for David Gilmour. Would have been interesting if Sid could have stayed with the band and continued on with them. Who knows what they could have done? Maybe they would have went in a completely different direction, music-wise. But we'll never know. I mean, he just went downhill from there, and it's become a recluse. Of course, I heard that he did pay the band a visit during the recording of "Wish You Were Here," which kind of nerved some of them, not all. Yeah, but it was too bad. He won, Jug Band Blues. They say he included one song of his. Too bad they couldn't have included more. Of course, maybe didn't have any more. Other than that, Let There Be More Lights, good one. Remember Day, one of my favorites. Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, love that song. Corporal Clegg, bizarre. Stars So Full of Secrets, really bizarre. Seesaw, Jug Band Blues. But band on the back. Anyway, another one of those albums had to be right in front of our mind to listen to. Alright, moving right along. Now, the only album they put out that where Sid was the primary driving force behind the band. Of course, getting behind here. Released on August 5th, 1967. Of course, talking about The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Now, I remember when I first heard this album, I was like, this is Pink Floyd. I mean, if you don't know, if you've never heard Pink Floyd, which I could find strange, you've been living under a rock. Just kidding. But if you've never got into Pink Floyd, I would suggest starting out with this album, because if you start out with the later out stuff from the 70s, and then you listen to this album, it's a big shock, because this is more psychedelic and progressive. A lot of songs, a few songs could be progressive. Astronomy Donomy, another song covered by Voivod and other bands. Lucifer Sam, Matilda Mother, Flaming, Power Talk, Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk, Interstellar Overdrive. One of their songs from their live concerts back then that they tried to replicate on CD or record. The Gnome, Chapter 24, Scarecrow, and Bike. I remember I was listening to Bike in my truck one day while me and my mom were going to town, and my mom loved it. She got a good chuckle out of it, and it's a funny song. But the album where Sid was at his full power, his writing, was excellent. It's just too bad that he went downhill. I don't know if I've heard that he took some bad drugs, bad acid, and burned his brain. Other band members said he disappeared and then showed back up, and he wasn't the same. So, of course, great guy. From what I've seen and heard, it's just too bad he couldn't have continued on. But that's number 8. Heartbeat Gates of Dawn. Okay. Number 7. Now this is another album that was used as a soundtrack. Of course, I think that was why it came about. Was released for Le Valley, or The Valley, another movie by the director of More, Merve Schroeder. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but decided to get the band once again to do another soundtrack, and of course that's released in Obscured by Clouds, released June 2nd, 1972. One of my favorite albums. Remember when I first heard this, I was just captivated by it, especially Obscured by Clouds, the title song. Burning Bridges, when you're in Burning Bridges, gold that's in the What's the Deal, Mudman, alright. Childhood's End, I love that song. Free For, great song. Stay, absolutely. Curtains, strange song, not one of my favorites from it, but as a whole, another must-have for any Pink Floyd. Got my water. Pink Floyd fan. Back in the good old days before Roger went on this political tirade. But yeah, number 7, Obscured by Clouds. Okay. Number 6. Excuse me while I get a drink of water here. This one, the very last Pink Floyd album to come out. And if you know your Pink Floyd, you know what I'm talking about. Of course, this, I believe, was completely unplanned by the surviving 2 members. When I say surviving 2 members, I mean the guys that made it Pink Floyd. Roger Waters still hadn't returned as a member, except for the Live 8, which I'm glad they did. That was fantastic. If you get a chance to watch the Live 8 concert they did, when all 4 original members, well, the classic lineup, let's put it that way, were together again on stage. I'm glad they did that, especially when after we lost Rick Wright a few years later. But of course, released in November 2014, talking about The Endless River. And the main reason why they released this is because they wanted to do a tribute to Rick Wright, who's involved in a lot of the music on here. Because there's Dave and Nick. Good picture of them. Little postcards. Tribute stuff, man. Comes a little booklet. Give you an idea what's on here. studio. I believe they're in the Division Bell recordings. There's two discs in here. Oh, there's the two discs. But, you know, I've heard a lot of people say it's not the best Pink Floyd, but I disagree. They weren't out to make, they weren't putting this out to make money. You know, of course a lot of people are saying, well, it's obvious. But they wanted to do it, like I said, they wanted to do a tribute to Rick. This was some of the last recordings that he was on. You know, I'm sure there's probably more. But I think they did a good tribute to him. I mean, it's good, easy listening stuff. If you can see. But yeah, it's a good tribute to him. I mean, you know, sure they could have done other things to him, you know, but they wanted to keep it purely what they were doing at the time, you know, their last time, you know, bit of time in the studio with him. They didn't want to embellish. Didn't want to change it. They wanted to Rick at his best, you know. But I think they succeeded. You know, I really enjoy this. So, anyway, get it? Endless River. Alright, moving right along here. We're up to the top 5. 5 at 5. It's not 5 yet. Okay. Number 5. First album put out after Roger had left, after all the dust had settled from the lawsuits, and of course deciding who had the right to use Pink Floyd and who didn't. And of course, thankfully the court sided with Dave and Nick and Rick. Of course, Rick wasn't an official member at the time, but he returned. I'm glad he did. But released September 7th, 1987, which is a fantastic surprise at the time for me. Momentary Lapse of Reason. It was a marvelous surprise when I heard this coming out. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of critics say, well, this is more of a David Gilmour solo album. No, I'm sorry. It may not have Roger's flair, writing flair, but you know, the music is Pink Floyd. The lyrics may not be as strong, but they are still it's still a good solid album. I mean, Signs of Life, Learning to Fly, Dogs of War, One Slip, one of my favorites, On the Turning Away, my ultimate favorite from this album. You know, their movie, Round and Round, A New Machine, Terminal Frost, I love that. This combination, New Machine Part 1 and 2 and Terminal Frost, and of course ending with Sorrow, one of their mainstays for the concerts. But On the Turning Away, I just love that song. I mean, it's haunting, mellow, just strong track to me. Like I said, their best. You know, to me, it's the top five. Sure they may have been able to do it better, but I think at the time it got the ball rolling again for him. Of course, people wanted to see him on stage, and they got their wish. I mean, they did a major tour, and yeah, I wish I could have seen him. One of my favorite all-time bands, and the only way I've seen him live is on video. I wish I could have seen him live in concert, but oh well. Okay, moving right along. Number 4. Another album. People put it right up there with their number 1. And I really, earlier today when I was doing the list here, I really struggled with the top 4 here. Anytime these albums could switch, but today I figured this is the way it's going to be today. Who knows? A couple weeks down the road, it could switch. Number 4 could number 1, number 3, number 2, or number 1. But anyway, coming at number 4, released January. Let's see. No, that's not right. Let's see. Produced 1971. Doesn't say when it was released. Oh, okay, there it is. October 30th, 1971. Ooh, gotta eat my mic here. Of course, that's metal. Not to be confused with metal. It's metal. MEDDLE. Go inside, and there's the band. Fantastic album. This is when they were just finally figuring out their sound. One of these days, just brings you in with the winds, and you can picture yourself out on a windy plateau or something, and then boom, the bass starts, the double bass. Roger on his bass, and then Dave was following along on a fretless bass. Fantastic song. I love it. A Pillow of the Winds, great. Fearless, okay. Saint Tropez, okay. Seamus, I think they could have dropped that. And of course, Echoes. Fantastic track. A lot of people don't like that, but I just think it's haunting. Best way to listen to Echoes is off their Live at Pompeii. Fantastic version of Echoes on there. Especially the visual effects they have on there. They start out with the first part of Echoes and then finish with the last part. It's marvelous. If you haven't seen Live at Pompeii, check it out. It's fantastic. So anyway, that's number 4, metal. Okay, number 3. Like I said, I struggled figuring out these top 4 here. And of course, a lot of people are going to be going, well, why'd you put this here and number 4 and why is it number 1 and blah blah blah. Well, this is mine. That's why I say, if you want to put your rating down below in the comments, please do so. But this is mine. If you don't like it, tough. It released on March 1st, 1973. And of course, I'm talking about the mighty Dark Side of the Moon. The album that basically put Pink Floyd on the map as a big time band. Fantastic album. It's really funny. Before I knew who Pink Floyd was, I'd already heard one of their songs, well, a portion of it. That was the beginning of time. There was a show, I think it was on Sundays, called Sci-Fi Theater, and they used the beginning of time for their theme song for that show. And I never listened, and it was a captivating little piece. But imagine my shock when I first heard Dark Side of the Moon. That came on. I'm like, wait a minute, this is Sci-Fi Theater. What's that doing on here? So it's kind of interesting when we hear something and don't realize until we hear it, later, we don't realize who wrote it or where it came from. And lo and behold, it's one of our favorite bands or something. A lot of songs out there that's what is a song that there was, can't think of one right now, but there's lots, Voivod doing the Nile Strong and the Stramadomini. How many people heard that song and said, well, that's a great song by Voivod, not realizing that it was put out a long time ago by another band, namely Pink Floyd. But so anyway, it's kind of neat when something like that happens. You're like, wow, that's who this is. That's who wrote this. Well, this is kind of funny. We got. Says not to be Dark Side of the Moon, not to be confused with Dark Side of the Moo. Dark Side of the Moo. For the far or hidden side of the moon, see Dark Side of the Far Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon redirected here. For other uses, see Dark Side of the Moo. Okay. Dark Side of the Moon is an early, unofficial compilation of the English progressive rock Pink Floyd. Oh, really? Featuring recordings not available on album released in the U.S. Unlike other bootlegs containing previous unheard material, the album is made up of re-recordings. That's interesting. There were at least one commercial release. That's interesting. Dark Side of the Moo. Recorded between 1967 and 1971. See, you find something out new every day. Okay. Track listing. Astronomy Donomy. Candy in the Current Run. Apples and Oranges. It'd Be So Nice. Interstellar Drive. Scream Thy Last Scream. Heartbeat Pigmeat. Crumbling Land. Embryo. Embryo's good. That's on got that on an album, Pink Floyd Works. Point Me at the Sky. Come in number 51. Your Time Has Come, or Your Time Is Up. And Mademoiselle Knobs. Mademoiselle Knobs. That's a French I hate foreign words. I can never pronounce them right. But okay, yeah, a bunch of songs from, B-sides, singles. Okay. Alright. Dark Side of the Moon. Interesting. Never knew that existed. Anyway, back to the main thing here. Okay. Number 1 and number 2. If you're a Pink Floyd fan, you know what's up next. Well, you think no. I was probably surprised a lot of people with my number 1. Number 2, like I said, I really struggle with this. When you love a band like Pink Floyd, it can be difficult. I mean, and I did. I really struggled with my top 4. Which one to, but anyway, released September 12th, 1975. Wish You Were Here. Like I said before, these top 4 could switch places. If I did this again a couple months down the road, it could be completely different. But number 2, great album, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar, Wish You Were Here. All except for, maybe Have a Cigar, all mainstays of their concerts. Well, and Welcome to the Machine. Probably, out of all of them, Welcome to the Machine is my favorite. I just way it's done, it's haunting. It's just sends chills up and down your spine when you listen to it. Of course, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, written about Sid. Of course, from what I understand, when they were recording this, he showed up during the sessions, and at first people didn't know who it was until somebody blurted out, "Oh my gosh, it's Sid!" And after that, they were kind of uncomfortable because, well, this album is about him, about his rise to prominence and then decline, and it's just too bad. But whether he finally realized what the album was about, remains a mystery. But anyway, Wish You Were Here, my number 2. Of course, number 1, pretty much Pink Floyd. Any Pink Floyd fan knows what my number 1 is. And of course, released on March 28th, 1994, United Kingdom, April 4th, here in the United States. Of course, I'm talking about the Division Bell. Why did I pick this number 1? Well, I think it's really strong. I mean, sure, there's a couple weak tracks, but on a whole, I think they were firing on all cylinders on this. Rick, Nick, and Dave. Cluster 1, the great opening track. What Do You Want From Me? Another one, I could imagine that being pointed at Roger. Poles Apart, Marooned, A Great Day for Freedom, Wearing the Inside Out, nice track by Rick, sings on. I think the first track he sang on for quite a while. I think, no, probably not since Saucer Full of Secrets. Take It Back, Coming Back to Life, one of my favorite tracks. Keep Talking, we could all take a lesson from that. We all need to keep talking, working out our differences. Lost for Words, and of course High Hopes. Strong album. That's my number one. Division Bell. So anyway, there you have it, people. Pink Floyd, mother of all bands, one of the best, if not the best, psychedelic band. I just wish I could have seen them in concert at least once. But it is what it is. So a little recap. My number one, Division Bell. Number two, Wish You Were Here. Number three, Dark Side of the Moon. Number four, Metal. Number five, Momentary Lapse of Reason. Number six, Endless River. Number seven, Scared by Clouds. Number eight, the debut album, Piper Gates of Dawn. Number nine, Saucer Full of Secrets. Number 10, the Cow album, Adam Hart Mother. Number 11, let's see, More. I Want More. Any more Pink Floyd. Number 12, I'm a Gumma. Coming to the house and watch it live with your mama. Or listen to live with your mama. Number 13, Ziwal. 14, Animals. Bah. And number 15, The Final Cut. Kind of makes you wonder if Roger called it The Final Cut because he wanted to, he basically wanted Pink Floyd to go away at the time. And he thought that, well, if I'm not Pink Floyd, there is no Pink Floyd. But unbeknownst to him, we got at least 2 more albums out of him. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave a comment down below, leave your own listing. I'd be interested to see that. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I try to put ranking the albums out every Monday morning, about 11 o'clock. Trying to work out a schedule of other things. Tuesdays, it'll be musical anything, so I might be talking about new albums, stuff. I haven't really got anything scheduled for next week. Been off for 4 days of work, from work. Well, everybody else was off for 4 days. I still had to go into work. My legs are sore. Spent the day cleaning our break room, which is a pigsty, or was a pigsty. Then spent the rest of the time sealing our long delivery driveway. And, oh boy, I won't get into that, but my legs are sore. So anyway, have a nice week, and if I don't see you before then, I'll see you next Monday with another Rankings albums. Don't know what I'm going to be doing, but it'll be hopefully it'll be something interesting. Let's put it that way. So anyway, have a nice day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.